So
नमस्कार
today,
सर।
guys, we are going to have a very interesting session, and I think हमारा काफी कई sessions चल रहे हैं blockchain के ऊपर. तो everyone is aware now that why this much noise is going on blockchain in Jetking. Because we are coming up with a lot of new things, and then we are doing a lot of interesting things on blockchain, and then we will be changing our future paradigm for the blockchain purpose and all that, right? So we have 46 participants. So let me introduce here. I think it is 12:01. So we can start with the introduction of the speaker, and then I will invite Harsh sir for talking few things about near protocol association with Jetking and talk about the blockchain, and then we will be starting with Mr. Sharif's presentation, right? So in behalf of Jetking, I would like to welcome you all to the another wonderful session on, this is the 70th session on in Learnovator series. And now we have a distinguished guest, I think from the overseas, the first guest from the overseas in this Learnovator series. So I would like to welcome Mr. Sharif Abu Shadi, an educator, technologist, and consultant. So Mr. Sharif has led projects, teams, and workshops in software design, development, and process for Verizon, the Home Depot, Nationwide Insurance, and Caterpillar, as well as several US federal agencies, including the Department of Education, the Department of Homeland Security, the Library of Congress, and the Federal Aviation Administration. He has taught over 3,500 adults in person among 200 companies on how to design and build software solutions for the web. And so he has taught over 3,500 adults in person among 200 companies on how to countries on how to design and build software solutions for the web. More recently, he is advising a number of new boot camps around the world, including schools in Egypt, Finland, Kenya, Mexico, Ukraine, and Russia on early stage programs, design, and development. So more recently, he is advising a number of new boot camps around the world, including schools in Egypt, Finland, Kenya, Mexico, Ukraine, and Russia on early stage programs, design, and development. His experience been currently he is with Near Protocol, Adjacent Academics, Head of Learning. He has been with Anki.com, Director of Learning and Development. He was responsible for alignment of learning strategy with the needs of key clients and partnerships. He has been with SOMA Education as an educational program director. He has been with Signal as a co-founder. He has been with, in his career of more than 22 years experience, he has worked with a lot of companies in the domain of education, in the domain of technology, and in the domain of startups and boot camps. So with this note, I would like to invite Harsh sir to talk about our association with the near one, and then with blockchain, and then we can start with the session first. So Harsh sir, yes, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Sashi ji. Good afternoon, Sharif ji. We had a beautiful session with our students and faculties in the past 2 days with the Near Protocol team. Right. So welcome business partners. We've got our lovely business partners on Thursdays. I love the fact that all our business partners are dedicatedly coming on this on Thursdays, and that we actually provide some value in this. We work a lot, Govindji, Dad, all of us work a lot to make sure Thursdays, the Learnovator series, we have some high value people. And this week we are fortunate enough to have Sharif and Shashi from the Near Protocol team. So as you guys know, that we have recently ventured into blockchain. In fact, we have a whole dedicated center in Bangalore, Jayanagar, just to teach blockchain. We are not teaching hardware. In fact, we had done some enrollments. We stopped those enrollments in networking, and we said we will just focus on blockchain because that's the future, right? So now pursuing that, and we started 3 courses. One is MBD, Master of Blockchain Development, BCA in blockchain, and MSc in blockchain. So the next 10 years, what previously was web development, animation, networking, the next 10 years is going to be blockchain. So we are fortunate enough to team up with Near Protocol. Now, Near Protocol is, if you understand blockchain, if you understand Bitcoin, where you can exchange peer-to-peer you can have peer-to-peer transactions. मेरे को आपको पैसा देने का है, so I don't need an intermediary. So similarly, there's another protocol which is called as Ethereum. Now, Ethereum as a platform is a smart contracts platform, जिसपे हम लोग अपना smart contract code कर सकते हैं, and we can create different projects on. So Ethereum is like an infrastructure. So all of you know about Ethereum. So similarly, there is Near protocol. Now, Near protocol is a recent protocol, and I think Sashi and Sharif will tell you more details about it. But obviously, Ethereum is a $400 billion market cap, but Near protocol today is around $2 billion. Now, $2 billion market cap is around 14 to 15,000 crores. It's for a recent project is awesome. It has got a die-hard community. Its technology is it's awesome. The transaction fee is almost negligible, right? So they will tell you today more about blockchain. What is blockchain? What is Near protocol? And at the end, they'll also discuss that we have partnered with Near protocol to host this hackathon, where there are chances that if your faculty or your student enrolls in this, takes a part in this hackathon, right? There are prizes of over $1 million. In fact, they are giving Near protocol tokens to all students. In fact, they gave 20,000 rupees worth Near protocol tokens to all, to I think 200 or 400 students that registered 2 days back. So I will hand over. Govind has introduced Sashi and Sharif. So I will hand over the spotlight to them, and they can share more about blockchain, Near protocol, and the hackathon.
Thank you so much, Harsh. This was very, very warm welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's our great pleasure to have a chance to speak with all of you. We have a presentation that we can use, and for sure I can begin this way. But our hope is that this session will be a conversation where you can ask questions, and we can take the time to answer your questions. This way we can take advantage of being here together in the same virtual space. So instead of just kind of watching me talk for some time. So I'll give a brief presentation to give you an idea of what this is about. And then if anything you see along the way is interesting, we can ask questions along the way and discuss and answer. All right. So let me just start by sharing my screen. I think it might be a good idea to start by sharing with you this this list here, and this will be questions that you can post. I'll turn off the moderation and then present the questions. So as you have questions, we can always go back and just check here what questions you have along the way.
So आपको ये लिंक पे जाना है और क्लिक करके जो भी सवाल हैं आपके आप डालिए यहाँ पे. You put all your questions here. Rather than chat में क्वेश्चन डालने के लिए यहाँ पे डालिए, ताकि बीच बीच में सेशन में हम आके ये सारे क्वेश्चंस आंसर करते रहेंगे और सब लोग देख सकते हैं. It's a nice learning tool. So we are also trying to demonstrate some learning tools that are very interactive for online sessions, and you can introduce that in your own pedagogy or in your centers. Please go ahead, Sharif.
No, for sure. This is great. So Slido is just a product that we're using online, like Gmail or anything like this. It's not related to Near specifically, but it's a good tool for administering questions. And every once in a while, I will just jump back like this to see if you have questions. Okay, that's the best way. And you can vote on other people's questions, and we can discuss them. So let's get started. If you like, we can set up a Near wallet as well, but let's come back to this a little bit. Here's some of my background. You heard about it already. That's the Slido link. And what I could present for you today is users, developers, and instructors. But let's start with the users. Okay, so from the user perspective, we always ask this question: what is blockchain? And most of the time in the news, what we see is people are gambling basically with they buy something low and then they sell it high and they hope to make money quickly, and this is what's exciting for the newspapers. But Actually, if you get into the technology and you understand what's happening, there is a fundamental shift in the world, which is similar to what happened 25 years ago with the internet. There was a time between 1995, 4, 5, 6, 7, this middle of the 1990s, when people were hearing about the internet. I remember when I heard you could get a free email address. What is that? I asked. And people were talking in the news about something called the internet and websites, but not everybody was using it. And so the story was maybe you can buy things on the internet, or maybe it's a place you can go or something, but it wasn't really clear. This is similar now with blockchain. We're early still, but the next 10, 20 years, the way that we interact with our identity, with money, with ownership, all of this will change because of blockchain. And the reason is, in the same way that the internet, TCP/IP, HTTP, SSL, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, all of this technology basically created a world where we can move data around between computers. And now that we have this data moving, we can have websites and mobile applications and everything. With blockchain, what we have on top of this data now is trust. And in this trust, we can put things that we care about, like identity, money, ownership. This is the big idea. So just like we were moving data, and look at the internet we have now. If I tell you, here is a computer, but you can't connect to the internet, you think maybe it's a useless computer. In 5 or 10 years from now, if I say, here is a computer that doesn't let you use blockchain, you will say it's a useless computer, because this new technology will change the way that we are working together. So let's take a look at some use cases to understand. First of all, some basic concepts. And this is taken directly from a presentation in the crypto AZ16. Andreessen Horowitz is a venture capital firm, a famous venture capital firm in the US. And I can share with you the link here to this startup school. And I'm just taking one of the presentations, one of the slides here. There were several points, which is nice. And so here are some basic concepts. You can think of blockchain as a database for storing things of value, like identity, money, ownership, and so on. And here you see there is cryptocurrency, like gold or cash. There is tokens, like social points, or membership points, or frequent flyer points, whatever you want. In fact, these tokens can also have value on the market. Digital assets, so ownership of something, like some kind of certificate of ownership, or a certificate of ownership of a piece of art, or whatever, maybe a ticket for an event or something like this. And then identity, right? So this is kind of the database for storing things of value. This is, of course, new, because you can put things like this in a database today without blockchain. But the question is, who controls that database? Because if you have your life savings, all of your money in this database, and someone else controls it, then they control you. But with blockchain, nobody controls it. In fact, the software controls itself because of the way the blockchain works.
I will speak quickly in Hindi, giving an Indian example. This is very important concept.
No problem.
सबको हिंदी समझ में आती है, I'm assuming. तो basically अभी जो कुछ bank frauds हुए थे इंडिया में, there were some bank frauds that has happened in India, where people the bank got burst because उनके पास पैसा नहीं था, and जो डिपॉजिटर्स थे उनको पैसा नहीं मिला, and then लोगों को पता चला कि अच्छे बैंक ओनली गारंटीज 1 लाख रुपए तक का पैसा वापस, और उसके बाद नहीं दे सकते वो. सो बिकॉज आपका सारा पैसा किसी के पास आपने जमा कर रखा है, और एक्चुअली आपको लगता है आप ओनर हैं, बट वो ओनर हो गया उसका, और उसने जैसे मन तैसे लोगों को पैसा बांट दिया और आपका पैसा चला गया, जो बॉम्बे में हुआ था कुछ कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स के साथ, आप सबको पता है. सो ब्लॉकचेन क्या करता है, वो वो चीज नहीं करता। आपका पैसा आपके पास है और उसकी ओनरशिप भी आपके पास है, और आप डिसाइड करेंगे कि उसको कैसे किसको देना है, बैंक नहीं डिसाइड करेगा। सिंपल टर्म्स में। Sharif, you can go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. So now if we talk about Bitcoin or Ethereum or Near, on top of, if you recognize this picture on the right, then you will know what I'm going to say. If not, let me just explain. This picture on the right-hand side is a software that watches the movement of data, maybe on your Wi-Fi. And you can see, if you read here in this software, just looking, you'll see that there are layers here. This is, the frame is the envelope of data. Ethernet is the network. Internet protocol is how you agree on what kind of data is moving back and forth. Transmission control protocol guarantees the message is delivered. And then on top of this is Bitcoin. So you can see it's now just part of the data in the network. You can actually move value. This is very new. And so the machines themselves can hold value. The machines themselves can hold money. And this is a big deal because, excuse me, this means that we can now, instead of trusting a bank or a company or someone else, we can actually trust our own code or someone else's code that we read. We can actually read the rules of the software and see exactly how the software works. And it's guaranteed that this software is running on the network and it can't be changed. So these kinds of guarantees are coming from the cryptography behind this. Of course, there's a lot of value now. 10x better than gold, you can say. It's lighter and easier to move around and holds its value. And I don't know what, it's faster than the SWIFT network for moving money around. It's already, made massive crowdfunding projects better than Kickstarter. And, it's possible that we talk about companies, and I'll show you an example later, that are started in software that are much faster and cheaper to start and stop the company than any other system. For example, making a company in Delaware. And there are many billion-dollar companies which have come already from this system. So there's quite a bit of opportunity here. Already the market cap of the blockchain, if you take Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the other projects around, is something like $2 trillion globally. This is small money when you talk about financial markets, where the exchange of euro and yen market in Europe is 5 trillion by itself, for example. But this project is just 10 years old. So the idea is that this will grow and we will see these numbers get much larger, maybe in the tens or hundreds of trillions, depending on where we go. Some people are predicting multiple quadrillions, so thousands of trillions worth of value held by these systems over the next 5 to 10 years. And if you like, I can share with you some of the financial thinking about this, although I'm not a finance guy myself. I have read and watched some of these programs. Blockchain gives you a choice of who you trust. So yesterday, you had to trust the bank if you wanted to put your money somewhere or get a loan or make a financial relationship somehow. The bank would be the place that you could go to find somebody you could trust. Today, you can actually trust the bank or this software, and people are doing this. If you think about the structure of a company, for example, and the cap table of a company and how it has, for example, shareholders and people who are owners, normally this is an Excel spreadsheet, which is stored somewhere on a drive or something. And someone is holding the responsibility for this ownership of the company. Today, as you'll see in a little bit, you can have this ownership in software. And instead of having 10 or 20 shareholders, you can have 100,000 shareholders, and you can manage their votes and direct capital, money, through their voting process, for example. Even people that have never met or don't know each other, just because they hold some share in this software company. This, we were talking about decentralized autonomous organizations, by the way, DAOs. If you remember mobile first and how, you know, everybody has been in the last 10, 15 years talking about mobile first applications, now maybe blockchain first. And you can see across many different areas here, blockchain companies and products and projects are replacing the existing projects or competing with them, if not already replacing them. So here across, you know, the areas in the bottom, social and finance and so on, and then collectibles, identity, distributed databases, and so on. Many different projects now. There is a difference in the network effects. So if you talk about Facebook, for example, and the value of the network, in fact, the value of the Facebook network is only because of the size of the network that it becomes valuable for the investors in the beginning. But if you talk about these blockchain systems as a startup and being able to fundraise in the beginning, the smaller the network, the more potential there is for future value of people who are investing. So this kind of inverts the equation and gives access to people to invest in new kinds of projects that was very difficult to do before. You would need lawyers and contracts and so on. Now you have software and simply making a function call or something like that across the network. We'll see some of the details if you want to get into it. Blockchains are also transforming social networks, for example. Today, you can like or poke somebody or send them a message or something like this, but that's it. And all of this data lives on the network of Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. With blockchain, now you can actually pay somebody through a message and say, can you please help me solve this problem? I have attached, you know, maybe a few dollars that will be paid when the problem is solved. Or would you please read this advertisement? I have attached maybe a few cents that will go to your account when you read my message and reply. So these kinds of dynamics are very difficult to do without this basic infrastructure of micropayments, for example. And you may have heard about micropayments for 20 years or 30 years, even people have been talking about micropayments. But in the end, always someone was in control of the payment network. Now the software is controlling it by itself. This is the big change. And you can think of everything has been going to the cloud. Now some things will come off the cloud, keeping your own password, your own private keys. This is a big shift in terms of who holds the control, actually. So today, when you type your password, username and password in Facebook or LinkedIn, you are sending this data to Facebook to check their copy. Do they have the same copy there? Maybe it's encrypted locally that you gave them. But with blockchain, you never send your password anywhere. It stays on your computer, the private key actually. And you use this to sign a transaction, they call it. This signature is a mathematical work that you do with the data that you're sending. And once you have signed the transaction locally, you send the signed transaction to the network to be processed, not your password. That always stays with you. In fact, if you're using something like a hardware wallet, you may not know what your password is, what your private key is. It's locked in the hardware wallet, actually. Okay, so let's stop there. Any questions? Doesn't seem like it. Can we keep going? Or do people want to ask some questions? Shashi, can you do me a favor, please, and just ask one question to make sure that this question system is working? The question should appear here. Maybe I can also do it myself, just by visiting this QR code. And then I can post a question here.
Yes, Sharif, sorry, I was not able to unmute myself, so I asked somebody to unmute me.
No, don't worry.
Okay, so एक बहुत important concept, one very important concept that Sharif just told, which is very important. So right now, if you, all of you have a Facebook account, your username and password, a copy of username and password is stored in Facebook's database. And they are saying it's encrypted, but they can actually use it if they want it. But with blockchain, you never share your password. It's like, imagine you have a pen which holds the key. So when you are giving authorization, you sign with that pen and give the document, but the pen is still with you. But in Facebook, you are signing the document and a copy, a similar pen, a duplicate pen is also with Facebook. So they can also sign it on your behalf if they want it tomorrow. Try to understand this. अपने घर की दो चाबी है बनाई आपने फेसबुक इकोसिस्टम में, एक आपके पास है और एक चोर के पास है अगर वो चोरी करना चाहे तो. एंड इसमें एक ही चाबी है और वो हमेशा आपके पास है. आप घर खोल के दे सकते हैं किसी को, बट चाबी लॉक करने का और ऑथराइजेशन आपके पास है. एंड दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
This is as much as we can do when we talk about crypto. My suggestion to you is, of course, you must follow the law, but the law doesn't say you can't learn about this technology. So again, we're not talking about gambling with money. We're talking about learning about the technology. So if you imagine going back 20 years ago and I came and showed you this phone and said, look at what we're going to be using every day in 25 years, you said, oh, but this is illegal to buy one of these, I would say, okay, don't buy it, but learn about it, study it, read about it, so that when it becomes legal, because it will, then you can use this technology and use this software. So again, I want to be very clear about this, Shashi, sorry. We're not talking about crypto and money and gambling. We're talking about software and learning about the technology that creates this soil of trust. This is so important.
Yes, and so basically, शरीफ कह रहे हैं कि क्रिप्टो जो आप बिटकॉइन जो समझते जो ट्रेडिंग होता है मनी के रूप में, वो एक एप्लीकेशन है ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी का. वो ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है. It's not the entire blockchain. It's just an application of blockchain technology. So nobody is going to stop you from creating, say, for example, Amazon on blockchain technology. You are just creating a website. They might stop you from trading into blockchain tokens and cryptocurrency. That's fine. But there is a whole lot of world which Sharif is going to talk later. You will see, he will show you some examples also, which is built on crypto, but is not going to be banned because it's a software.
Okay, so let's assume this one's answered. Yeah, explaining blockchain in layman language. Yeah, let me try. So if I said to you, for example, you know, who do you trust with your, you know, I don't know what, with your life or with your money or with your jewelry, with your name? Who do you trust with these things? You would say family, friends, maybe a lawyer, maybe the police, maybe a bank, maybe the government, right? Depends on where you live, right? So this question of trust is important. And trust comes very closely linked with control. Because you have some control over family and friends in the reputation that they have. If your brother steals from you, his reputation would be damaged. So you trust that he won't do this because it's a big risk for him, for example. So trust and control, you know, these kinds of things are very closely linked. In blockchain, what you're doing is creating software which is protected from cheating by the mathematics of cryptography. And so what happens is the systems, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Near, they're all the same. They have a kind of clock in the system that ticks like this. Bitcoin is ticking once every 15 minutes, Ethereum once every 15 seconds, Near once every second, and there are others that even tick faster than this. Inside of this tick, you can put some piece of information which, after a little bit of time, in Bitcoin it's a couple of days later, Ethereum it's maybe 15 minutes later, you have the tick, you put some information like, I am sending Shashi $1, and then a tick, and then a tick, and then a tick. 3 seconds later, this piece of information cannot be changed by anybody. There is no computer on the planet today strong enough to change this information from 3 seconds ago. It's called finality or finalization. The data is final at this point. This is what blockchain is doing. It's creating this clock, which is ticking in software. And inside of the tick, you can put something. I'm calling this function. I'm sending this money. I created this NFT. I bought this house. And you put this information in the tick. And then just a few ticks later, depends on the clock. Bitcoin is 15 minutes, Ethereum 15 seconds, Near 1 second. After a few of these ticks, the data can never be changed again for the rest of the life of the network, maybe 100 years or 1,000 years. We don't know how long these networks are going to last. Why does this work? Because the people who agree to run computers that are managing the software are getting paid to tell the truth. And if they're caught lying, then they can lose a lot of money because you put the money, for example, in Near, $15 million against your truth, against your reputation. You say, I'm going to put $15 million, $50 million here, and say, I promise not to lie. And you can see here is the list of people now who are saying, I promise not to lie. So lying becomes very expensive. It's more expensive than telling the truth. Here is the price of Near now. It goes up and down. We don't care about this. This is gambling. Here is the total amount of Near tokens, 440 million. Multiplied by this, it's about 2 billion. And you have about 60 computers which are running, getting paid. So now you can see these are the computers which have agreed to tell the truth. And this is the amount of money. This one here is maybe $25 million here, right? This one here is maybe $35 million, right? This one here, $50 million that they are putting there saying, I promise not to lie. Okay, so hopefully this is okay. Blockchain language. In layman's terms, this is software that ticks like a clock, lets you put things, data, into the tick, and after a few more ticks, this data can never be changed because the software is running in a way that pays people to tell the truth. And if they lie and they're caught lying, which is very easy because the software is doing this, is checking all of these details, then they can lose a lot of money. So they want to tell the truth. Okay, hopefully this is clear. Yeah, so let's talk about other applications of blockchain now. I'm going to do this. So thank you so much for asking the question. What are the blocks in the blockchain? Can we remove a block or more from the networks? Yeah, the block is like a place where you can put a little bit of data, basically, transactions, they call it. I bought this, sold this, sent some money, received some money. This is the kind of data that's there. And we can look at the technical details if you want.
Sharif, do you want to show them like a ledger kind of thing? Say, for example, opening my account or your account or anything, like how normally the transactions will look like, or basically they will understand what a block means then in that, like every second, the history around that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. No, it's no problem. So we can see here in the Explorer, and I think that, did I send this link? I don't think I sent this link in the chat here. We can send it. And we can send this one also, the Explorer. So here you can see the 60 machines. You can see here the ticking of the clocks. right? About every second it's ticking. And this is how many blocks there are, how many ticks have happened since this network started. You know, it's 40 million ticks, right? And there's many different computers online because the computers are doing different things, listening to the history, answering requests, so on. And in the last 24 hours, there have been 240,000 things recorded, transactions recorded on the network. Here is a transaction, for example, submit review. You can see here the details. I don't know what the application is here, but it's just someone wrote a piece of software. You can see what it looks like, okay? And here in this transaction, this account, KSYY, whatever, has signed a transaction and sent it to this application. Near Crowd is an application that pays you to do work, small tasks. You can see here. This explains what Near Crowd is. And there are some rules here that make sure that the person who says, I want a task, translate a document, for example, gets completed correctly. So if you want to see what this looks like, this is the application that we're looking at here. And so now this person has said, okay, I'm going to, I don't know what, approve, right? There's no rejection, something about this. And you can see all the details of the transaction. There was a little bit of gas that was spent, you know, to pay the network to do the work. Of course, you have to spend money to do things now. It's not all free. The blockchain is much more expensive and much slower than AWS or Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure, because the guarantee here is not just about speed and scalability. The guarantee is that you can trust the network. There is truth about the data. This is the guarantee. And so to do this, the network, of course, has to do some extra work. And so things can be a little bit slower. This is no surprise. And here you can connect to mainnet and testnet and betanet, and you can explore some other kind of details. You can see here nodes and charts. And these charts will show you, you know, what's going on here, daily number of transactions in the network, and, you know, this kind of stuff. So,
so transaction here doesn't mean money. Normally we think transaction is money. Transaction is also when I ask the computer, the blockchain, to give me information about, say, how many art pieces I own, or when I'm logging into a blockchain software, that is also a transaction. So you can see some people can see money being transacted. So if you want, sir, if you can open a wallet account, like mine account or your account or whoever you want to open, and just show what normally a transaction can be.
yeah, so here I have my account and some history in this account, and I can go and send, for example, 0.1 near, it's like 50 cents, right? And I can do this and send it to Shashi if I want.
I think we should keep doing these sessions. Every time you do sessions, you send me money to give example. I'm becoming richer.
I should send less, maybe 0.1 or 0.001. And now I can go and view this transaction.
Now you can add my, you can give my reference also.
And so here you can see this has been transferred. And if you look at the number of significant digits here, it's 10 to the 24th, actually. So this is 0.1 near, so it's 10 to the 23rd is the number of digits you see here, but it's the Yocto near is the size. So you can really send very small amounts of money, if you can imagine how small that is. And the transaction fees are quite low. So to send this money to Shashi just now cost me this much US cents.
That's very less. Like,
yeah.
10 to the power 3, 4,
Yeah.
10 to the power 4, minus 4.
Yeah. That's how much it costs for me to send you this money.
Actually, and I have received it in my account immediately.
Oh, of course, yeah. I can see here it's succeeded, so I know that it's done. There's no bank, no approval, nothing like this. We just moved this money because we can. So let's talk now briefly about some of these ideas. You've heard of non-fungible token. What is the non-fungible token? So I'm just going to assume this is okay. manipulation blockchain. Yeah, for sure. We can discuss this about hackers and so on. So non-fungible tokens are basically a primary key, if you are familiar with relational databases, in a database with some metadata around it. The metadata might be like the link to the picture or the name of this product that you're going to buy or this art or whatever. That's what NFT is, a primary key in a smart contract in a database. And then around it is some metadata. And you can see here, unique digital art, maybe a shoe, a game, something in a game, a piece of writing, maybe a ticket for an event can be an NFT. And you spend this NFT when you go to the event. So that's NFT. It's a primary key, technically now, a primary key in a database that is stored on the blockchain. And then around the primary key is metadata. What is a fungible token? You heard of the ICO craze, right? ICOs, right? Initial coin offering from 3 years ago. Everybody was making money. Everybody was getting rich. This is fungible token here. And this is simply a number that is stored in a database and connected with your account. Shashi has 100,000. I have 100,000. I give you 10,000 of this number. That's just a number moving back and forth. That's all a fungible token is. Nothing else. And you can see here we have an application. People can make their own fungible token just by filling a form. Very easy.
फंजिबल का मतलब जिसका कॉपी बना सकते हैं, समथिंग दैट यू कैन मेक अ कॉपी. फंजिबल टर्म का ही मतलब है. और उसमें अगर नॉन लगा दिया, नॉन फंजिबल, जिसका कॉपी नहीं बना सकते, जिसको हम कॉपी नहीं कर सकते. सिंपल. Go ahead, Sarif, please.
Yeah. And there's a difference between like native tokens like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Near versus something that's custom made like what you see here on the right. This stuff here, right? All right, so now if we talk about decentralized autonomous organization, this is an organization which is made from software, and you have people basically who agree on something. I want to spend money here. I want to add this person for the voting. Let's have a vote. Let's call this function. So you can read about these DAOs and how they work, but there's a whole world here opening up about these companies that you can form in a few minutes and then shut down if you don't need them. And then oracles is the question of how do you tell the truth about something out in the real world and put it on the blockchain? You have this oracle question. And so here, for example, if you want to know the weather, when you're in the blockchain, you can't call out. It's like a serverless function. You have 200 milliseconds for the function to wake up, do its work, and shut down in a smart contract. And so there's no time to go and call an API and come back. So you have a piece of software off the blockchain, which is sending this data into the blockchain to tell it, oh, the weather is like this, the weather is like this, the weather is like this. And you have to structure this software so that the data coming in can be guaranteed to be true. This is called an oracle. And now for use cases, you have digital art. Here, for example, is a system, kickback events. Everybody pays their ticket price. And then if you don't show up, you lose your money. Maybe you put everybody pays $1. You lose your dollar if you don't come. But if you do come and you prove by signing a transaction there in the event QR code or something, you earn money from the people that didn't come. Because the money is programmable, you can do this now. Here is a Wikipedia where you put an article and you put money with the article and you leave it. There's now $16,000 in this Wikipedia, for example. And if someone doesn't like your article or they think it's a mistake, they can say, I think there's a mistake, and here's some money that says, I believe that you made a mistake. And then there is a group of people that votes. This one is right, this one is right. Depending on who wins, they get all the money. And the council, maybe they get a small fee, 1% or something, for making this decision. Again, it's all programmable money, so you can do these kinds of things. If you want, you can go now. We can create wallets. You can buy an NFT. You can launch a DAO in the next minute if you want. And you can even make your own token if you want. So maybe we can stop there. There's a hackathon starting this Friday. You can share it with your...
But if there is 1 or 2 questions that you might want to take there in the slide.
Sure, yeah. So this was the question that was there before. And of course, software especially software that has value, will be attacked. Of course, this is true. And so what these hackers are doing in terms of, getting money and so on, is they're finding mistakes in the smart contracts, the software that developers are putting onto the platform. They have some mistakes maybe. And so the hackers are finding these mistakes and getting money. Good for them. But if you say, is the technology itself, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on, is it safe? You have to ask yourself, here, coin market cap, we can see that there is $2 trillion sitting in the middle of the street in public. If you could steal this money, you would do it. Governments would do this. $2 trillion is a lot of money. But nobody has been able to steal this money because the networks are secure, actually. But the software that people put on the network is insecure. You can see here Bitcoin is $800 billion. If you can trick the hack the mathematics of Bitcoin, you can take this 800 billion right now. It's there. So the networks are secure, but the applications people build maybe are not guaranteed to be secure.
So what if the application is also designed in blockchain technology? Is it possible?
So I'm not sure if I understood what you're asking, but let me see if I can try and answer, and then you tell me if I got it. So there is the blockchain layer, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Near, and others, Solana, Avalanche, Cardano. There's many of these. This blockchain layer, they call it layer 1. Then on top is layer 2, which is other kinds of applications which are built to use the layer 1 for making faster transactions or I don't know what. And then maybe you can talk about the smart contracts as maybe layer 3, if you like, that you put there on top of this, right? Or maybe you call the smart contracts layer 2. It doesn't matter. Layer 1, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Near, and others, this foundational technology is what you call blockchain. And then the smart contract that you write and you put it onto the blockchain, you deploy it like a serverless function. This is the software that the developer writes to build their own application. There's a difference there. This is important. So if you want to see some source code, for example, and I know maybe we're running out on time a little bit, but you can see here, there's a list of 45 examples that you can read through. And actually, these examples are very well documented. Many of them have videos. And you can see, look, here's a function. Say hello world, read some data, write some data. And it's all explained with videos and so on. So I can share this link with you here if you like. And then there's another one. So this is coming from teachers and students, student projects and so on. Some of them are very interesting. And then there's another one, which are production applications here that you can see, which have like, some of the examples I showed you. These also have, some diagrams and videos explaining how all of these work. So if you want to see these applications, they're here. You can see the contracts here. This is a fungible token contract written in Rust. You can see here, I mean, now we're getting a little bit technical, but here's the contract structure, and then the contract implementation with a function. And this gets compiled and deployed to the blockchain. All right, so does this answer your question?
Yeah, sure, yes.
Okay, and then NFT and ICOs with an example. Non-fungible token is like you want to buy something. So for example, here is a NFT website. There's many of these websites on these networks. And here I can see, I can come and log in, with my account. And I can look at my profile and see, do I own something? Maybe I can go to the marketplace and I can filter because I don't have a lot of money. You can see here I only have 0.2 Near. I just sent Shashi 30% of my net worth. So I will put a maximum here of 0.2 maybe and see what is the filter. And okay, good. I can see these. Maybe I like this pattern or something. I want to buy this one. I can just buy it, right? So here, see the details of this card. Maybe I like this one. Looks cool. right? Who else owns this card? I can see the history of people who own it. And then I can come here and I can say buy. Now I'm going to buy one of them. And it will send me to the wallet and say, this money is being transferred. Are you okay? And I can allow or deny. So I'm going to allow the transfer of this money. And then I'll be back in the Paros website. And you'll see now I own this. And here I'm listed. Excuse me, this is the artist. Here I'm listed as an owner there. And it's not for sale. But I can put it for sale right away if I want. Maybe I want to, you know, sell it. I'm going to sell one card. And maybe I want to make some money from this. So I'll sell it for 1 year. If anybody wants it, there it is. And if we go back to my wallet, I can see here, there's some methods. Look, see? So here's where I sent Shashi some money. And here's where I called the buy. And here's where we updated the market data. So you can see here, this is the buy method. And of course, this is important. It's all public information. This can be a little bit surprising. My wallet, my money, my transactions, all my history is public information. But here you can see, this is exactly what happened. All of the details of this transaction and how much it cost me to do it, you can see here the transaction fee. To buy this piece of art cost me, again, just to do this math, you know, about 2 cents to buy this piece of art.
So, Sharif, can I come in here for 30 seconds?
Yeah, sure.
So, दो चीजें यहाँ पे समझने की बहुत जरूरत है. एक तो कि फंजिबल टोकन, नॉन फंजिबल टोकन जो कहते हैं, तो अगर टोकन तो एक वर्ड है, बट बेसिकली इट्स नॉन फंजिबल थिंग. सो इफ अभी हम इस, तो आप समझते हैं ये क्या फोटो वगैरह खरीद रहे, व्हाट पीपल आर बाइंग दिस crazy looking pictures, why should I waste my money? But we have to get into the concept of it. Non fungible means जिसका copy नहीं हो सकता. It can be your house tomorrow. It's basically, blockchain is all about assets, that who owns the asset and the history of that ownership. That's, if I have to basically, blockchain का अगर एक word में बोलूं, what blockchain does is shows who owns the asset and what is the history of that asset. तो अगर कल को, and it can be Amazon tomorrow, कल को आपको एक pair of जूता खरीदना है, you can buy it. Again, वो pair of जूता का सिर्फ आपके पास है, तो assets own करने का तरीका है. So that's why it's called non-fungible. अभी because the technology is new and ये, and by the way, these NFTs, I was reading something some day earlier, somebody bought it for some 1 million or something and sold it for 200 million in like couple of months. So I'm just talking about
This is gambling, though, right? So
yeah,
we don't want to talk about gambling, right? Because
yes.
that's not the reality.
Yes.
You don't know pricing and money and so on if it's going to go up and down. But imagine, Shashi, if I said to you, if we met in 1990 or 1995, and I told you I'm going to spend my day at home working on a computer with people around the world in a meeting with 60, 70, 80 people, 100 people, 500 people sitting in a single meeting, having a conversation, asking and answering questions, you would say that's crazy. That's never going to happen. Here we are 25 years later doing it. For sure, everything you own, everything you buy, everything you sell, all the money that you make, all the money that you spend will be moving on blockchain in 10 or 20 years from now, for sure.
और दूसरा चीज जो इसमें बहुत important है, like we don't know, like this has complete transparency. Sharif, if you can go to the Explorer and probably put the account name in the in the search bar so that it shows how much money it is. Take any of the accounts that you want to do. So like कल को अगर
let me see how much money you've made from me now.
तो अभी जो शरीफ करने जा रहे हैं, आप लिटरली देख सकते हो मेरे पास मेरे अकाउंट में कितना पैसा है.
I'm going to go here and look at this transaction. I'm going to click on your name as the receiver, and now I'm going to open your, and look, I can see all your history here.
And if you go up, आप देख सकते हैं
on your wallet here. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Look at this. Look at all this money you're making from me. What's happening?
मेरे अकाउंट में भी $2,000 है. And you can literally see it. Anyone can see it. So कल को जो हम black money की बात करते हैं,
it's public information. But Shashi, I think in these demonstrations you should be sending me money, man. What's going on? Wow, look, I only have $1 here. You have so much more than me. Okay. So anyway, it's public for sure.
And you can see मेरे पूरे account का history की कितना पैसा किसने मुझे भेजा है. You can see all that, all the history of transaction. So imagine you don't need to demonetize the entire country to catch black money people. Are you getting my point? And that's how it is. That's the power of this technology.
Yeah, it's incredible. So here, how can we implement the blockchain in our work? So what you should be thinking about is, what kind of applications do you want to build for this, using this technology? That's really the question. And we've talked about a few of them, and you can use them. And in fact, I know we're now at the end of the meeting, but if people want, you can just fill this form, follow the instructions in this form, and we will send you a little bit of money on Near so that you can try it yourself if you want.
I haven't received yet.
Oh, okay. Did you fill out the form already?
Yeah.
Oh, so you can email me then with a question, because we paid everybody
no, it's okay.
last.
Just I'm kidding over here. Yeah.
No, it's no problem. But what I'm saying is we paid everybody yesterday. So if you didn't receive it, then it's a problem. You can email me and we can fix it. No problem.
Okay.
So yeah, so the way this works is, if you want, here I can just show you the form. Let me make it so you can click. You can come here to this form, and it's just two pieces. You need to create your account. So you go first to this screen here and pick your account, right? And I can walk you through it if you want. And then choose your account name and recovery method. And then what you do is you copy and paste the URL, the whole web page of the account funding page, and you paste that in here. I need the whole URL. It starts HTTPS just at the top of the screen. The URL of the website, and enter the event code that I'll give you now. The event code is Jetking 3. And so you type Jetking 3 into this event code here. You put the full URL, and then your email. We need this to confirm everything. You can pick yes or no, doesn't matter if you want us to contact you or not, and you fund your account. Then within a few hours, you will get funding in your account. And if you go back to the funding URL that you get in the confirmation, you will see you can claim it and go and do the next steps. Yesterday, we funded 150 accounts, maybe 140 accounts, something like that. All right. So yeah, so best crypto to invest in, these kinds of questions. We're really talking about gambling at this point, right? So I'm going to assume that I answered this question.
Everyone is thinking to get a tip.
Yeah, everybody, for sure. I'm gonna tell you my best advice: invest in learning about the technology and keep your money in your pocket.
True.
Because remember now, if we go back 25 years ago and you said, which business plan for a website should I invest? I didn't know Amazon was going to be Amazon, but I would have told you, invest in learning about this technology, and the next 20 years of your life will be very easy, actually. It's true. So forget about gambling on the money and trying to make quick money this month or this year, and invest in teaching your friends and family and students and partners about this technology. And the next 20 years of your life will be easy. That's the answer, actually. Okay, so here, if you want to come and take training with us, you're welcome to do so. You can go here to this website and sign up for our Near Certified Developer. We welcome you and anybody that's interested in taking this. And of course, this training is paid. We actually pay you to finish the training, which is a little bit unusual, but that's the reality that we're living in right now. Any other questions? Anything else we want to cover?
Yeah, so I think it was a very interesting session, Sharif. And then I think last 2 days we had very good session, and now this is the third session, and now we have the business partners with us into this session. So I think this has created a lot of awareness about blockchain, and then blockchain use cases and the future of blockchain. And then we also got to know that this is the crypto is only the one of the use cases of among other use cases of blockchain. So now I would request our business partners, if you have any specific direct question and you want to ask, so you can unmute yourself and then you can ask. It's a very, I think we have got the luxury to have Mr. Sharif, who is having almost 20 years of experience, and then more than 12, 13 years of experience in blockchain itself. So I think if you have any query, then please, you can ask, you can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Just to correct, I'm sorry, I'm new to blockchain technology, only 2 years now. I've been learning about this.
Okay.
Anybody that has 12 years experience in blockchain it's very rare, actually. Yeah.
Satoshi Nakamoto.
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe. And here's the link to the presentation, by the way.
Sure, thank you so much.
You're very
Sharif,
welcome. Thank you
quickly,
so much.
do we want to quickly talk about the hackathon? You have put the link. Do you want to just reinforce once what is this about and why it will be good for them to share it in their centers and ask students to sign up?
Of course, yeah. This is a great idea. Maybe I can also just share my screen.
One second, Sharif. I think, guys, we have got very good registration so far. We have got more than 400 registrations. So it is very interesting to see that you please understand this hackathon, and then we can push the registration. So our target is to have 1,000 odd registrations by tomorrow itself, because tomorrow this hackathon is going to be kicked off. So yes, please, Sharif, you can continue. Yeah.
No, no problem at all. Yeah. So I'm looking at. I know there's many links here that you've seen come through, but I'm looking at this the link just before the presentation, the splashthat.com link, and you can see here from this page. Excuse me. Oh. Oh, sorry. This was the wrong link. Please forgive me. It should be spelled backwards with the DL because people do this in the community. So when we open it here, this should be the right link, and you can see here you can register in this and fill out. It's a very short form, basically. But the way the hackathon is working, there's a significant amount of prizes. And this is a series of hackathons, right? So there's a partner challenges, for example, where you can go and see actually several different challenges that are coming from partners. And these challenges are sponsored. You know, there's some amount of money related to each one of these prizes. And there's many, many different prizes that people can win. So this is one feature of the hackathon, these partner challenges. Also, you can run a local hack node, which means you can actually organize local people and you get prizes and money and so on. And then there is a grand prize and this kind of basic stuff. Two kinds of things, work-related stuff and play-related stuff. Two kinds of prizes you can see here. And in general, you can see the partner challenges, find your team, maybe submit a workshop if you want to talk about something, or register for workshops if you want to consume them. And all of this starts on Friday, tomorrow. It's an online hackathon. You can learn and build, and there's enough time in a couple of weeks to actually learn enough. If you are a web developer or any of your students are web developers, they can learn enough in just a few days to actually build and compete and participate in this hackathon. So, of course, we welcome you to come and join.
If I'm trying to be a fake participant, and if I'm someone who just doesn't have a technology background, but I'm interested to know about blockchain, is this the space for me?
Yes, of course. So you can definitely come. You can learn, and some of the partner challenges are actually non-technical. Some of the partner challenges, you can just write an explanation of something, write an article, publish it or whatever. Let's write a guide, you can see. Here, let's write articles that will help developers who are new to Near. So you can literally get paid to teach people, right? So coming and writing, and posting articles and so on. You can see here that there will be these publications, and you can go and actually submit this and compete just by helping people learn about this technology while you are learning. This is what's amazing. So lots of different partner challenges here, lots of opportunities. Okay. Any other questions? Any other comments about this? I think there was some questions here. What happens if UN or a group of countries pass the regulation to control blockchain? Yes, of course. We are living in a world now where governments control our lives and the law and so on. So, of course, we have to follow the law, and we have to do things according with the law. And so we will see how all this will work. Again, go back 25, 30 years. What if the UN or a group of countries passed the regulations so you cannot shop online because they don't want the stores in the local streets to go out of business? People were asking these questions 25 years ago. What if the government says you cannot use a credit card on a website? For sure, they were saying this 25 years ago. What if the government does not allow children to go online for their safety? For sure, they were saying this. Okay, here we are, 2021. You see what's going on.
Yeah, of course. And in fact, I think there is a future where the government itself want to expand this blockchain. So maybe they can take the control, but anyway, the blockchain will remain in the picture.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So again, I know I've said this so many times now, maybe you're tired of hearing me say it, but the answer is not which coin do I gamble, or how do I avoid getting in trouble, or what if it's illegal? The answer is simply start learning about this technology as soon as you can. That's all.
Right.
That's the answer to every question.
Yes. This is all-in-one question and all-in-one answer, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Look, hopefully this was a good use of people's time. I hope this was interesting and useful. Thank you so much for allowing us to join you today. It was a great pleasure. If you have any other questions, of course, you can email us. This is my email. Shashi, I don't know if you want to also maybe put your email. Feel free to reach out, ask questions, no problem.
Yes.
All right.
Right. So thank you so much, Sharif and Shashi, for this wonderful session. I think it was very much insightful, and let's see that how we can collaborate and continue over this learning and then this journey together in future also, right? So I think we are hoping with this that great future is ahead. And I think I was discussing in the morning with Siddharth sir. He said that what hardware networking was in 1990. So now the blockchain is in this 2020 to 22. So now this is going to be the future of the technology for next at least 15 to 20 years. And this is what which can change all of our lives together. So I think this is the right time to learn about the technology and create awareness about the technology and get success. So with this note, I would like to thank you all our business partners to be here on this session, and then to ask insightful questions. And then I would like to thank Sharif and Sashi for answering the questions in a well simple way. So, and then tomorrow we are going to have another session, live session with our trainer on blockchain. So guys, you can go live on Facebook and then you can join our blockchain session. With this note, wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.